like, I don't think we're doing a big enough job of bigging up the stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know how to do that. It's not, it's totally outside my comfort zone, but I think we're failing in that regard, and that's probably where the next 20 years, the middle age, the fans in 20 years time are coming from now. And if we don't engage with them, we won't have them, and we're not going to grow. So that's something I think we need to be concerned about, because we were very focused on teams as kids. So I like Man United since I was 7, unfortunately. But now it's Mappe. It's it's the individuals that the next generation follow. So maybe that's something. And again, it's outside my area of expertise, but I see that my own son is 14. They follow individuals, personalities, characters, even if they're flawed. And I'm not saying we have to, try and manufacture flaws, but they're the people that are interested to them.
Well, Johnny has his flaws.
Yeah, no,
Johnny
I know.
but and I agree, he's a riveting character that we probably don't see enough of. And I think this is where rugby's, I hate to say it, sorry to use the word, values or sense that it should maintain and uphold these nonsensical values. It pisses me off when I hear it. Absolutely, be a nice person and be a good teammate, but you're allowed to be yourself as well. And we've, as a sport, have absolutely quashed that individualism in people. I totally agree with you, Birch. Like, even if you look in New Zealand, one of the biggest threats to rugby is the NBA and the growth of basketball over there. They love LeBron, they love their superstar players over there, and that sport has absolutely harnessed the power of that, as have all American sports. I think they've promoted and celebrated the individuals, whereas rugby players still, because they want to be a good teammate and good squad mate, they absolutely, I suppose, shiver at anything that remotely looks like them promoting themselves or putting themselves ahead of the team, even though it's never ever that. And in fact, them being more individualistic does promote the team and promote the sport and grow it. So that nonsense around, old school rugby needs to be shed, and that's probably part of the image and that sense of rugby is kind of an elitist sport, and that needs to go as well. So yeah, it's a really pertinent point, I think, and just growing individuals can grow the entire sport. It's a really valid point, Birch.
But that's actually specifically how you do grow a sport, and it has ever been thus. You mentioned the NBA there, Mer. If you go back to, I think, the late 70s, early 80s, the NBA was in the absolute doldrums in terms of public interest in the States. And along came two men named Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And the league, to an exploitative degree, harnessed, well, it actually manufactured a rivalry between the two of them. Now, their two franchises would have had a rivalry anyway, in the Lakers and the Celtics, but they put them in TV ads, they put them on merch, and they became two massive personalities that ultimately lifted the profile of the entire league. And it is personalities that will grow sports. It was that way back in the 70s and 80s. It's even more so that way now, because rather than nail your colors to the mast of a team, if you're a child, you may nail your colors to the mast of an individual athlete who you are following on a daily basis on Instagram, etc. And basketball continues to do a great job of that. I cover a lot of boxing, right? Boxing is probably even more so a minority sport than rugby on a global level. Nobody really gives a shit about it in a general sense. And yet, if there's a pay-per-view fight between two big personalities, everybody in the sporting world is going to be talking about it or want to watch it, even if they have no interest in the sport itself. I'm like, you mentioned that marketing list, Birch. I'm not sure if it's the same list, but certainly I saw one recently where the only Irish athlete in the top 50 was Katie Taylor. Now, Katie Taylor doesn't even say a great deal, but she's still in the public consciousness enough in a sport that, again, nobody really cares about, where brands see her as being a very marketable person. And like, she's one of the faces of boxing. She's absolutely the face of women's boxing. Rugby needs a few more faces to be the poster boy and the poster girl of this sport if it's going to be driven on.